Imagine this. It's late at night. The room is quiet. Your phone is face down. There's nothing demanding your attention anymore. And yet your body is still tense. Not because something bad happened, but because something might have happened. You replay the day in your head, not looking for what went right, but for what you failed to do well enough. You didn't train hard enough. You weren't focused enough. You rested when you shouldn't have. You let something slide. And almost automatically, a familiar voice steps in. Be better tomorrow. You're falling behind. You can't relax yet. You don't question that voice. You call it discipline. You call it high standards. You call it self-improvement. But pause for a moment and really listen. If growth is supposed to make you more alive, why do you feel smaller? If self-improvement is meant to free you, why does it feel like you're constantly being monitored? Here's the uncomfortable thought you don't want to look at. What if the voice you think is helping you improve is actually punishing you? What if the pressure you call motivation is fear in disguise? You wake up early. You optimize your habits. You push harder every week. From the outside, it looks admirable, responsible, disciplined, controlled. But inside, there's no finish line. No moment where the tension drops and you're allowed to feel okay. No matter how much you improve, it's never enough. The standard never softens. The approval never arrives. So let me ask you something honestly. Without motivation, without comfort, if someone spoke to you the way you speak to yourself, would you call that guidance or abuse? Think about how easily you deny yourself rest and call it grind. How often you ignore your emotions and call it mental toughness. How mercilessly you punish mistakes and call it accountability. You tell yourself this is how strong people are built. But here's the paradox no one warns you about. You can look productive on the outside while slowly eroding yourself on the inside. And the most dangerous part is that it feels virtuous. This culture rewards people who are hard on themselves. It praises discipline without asking what fuels it. It applauds consistency without questioning the cost. So no one stops to ask the real question. Is this making you healthier or just more controlled? Is this growth or just self-punishment that happens to look impressive? At some point, you stopped asking why you push yourself this hard. You just assumed pain was the price of becoming better. But better than what? And better for whom? If you ever allowed yourself to feel genuinely satisfied, would you feel relief or guilt? For many people, peace doesn't feel safe. Rest feels like failure. Self-acceptance feels like weakness. And that's not because you're broken. It's because you were conditioned. You weren't taught how to improve. You were taught how to withhold approval from yourself. So you chase progress not because you believe in your potential, but because you're afraid of who you'll be if you stop pushing. Afraid that without pressure, you'll become nothing. Afraid that if you're not constantly fixing yourself, you won't deserve love. This is the hidden tragedy. You think you're becoming stronger, but you're actually becoming harsher. More disciplined, yes, but also more disconnected. And deep down, there's a quiet question you avoid. If you ever became good enough, who would you be without the punishment? Because right now, self-criticism isn't just something you do, it's part of your identity. To understand why this pattern feels so normal, you have to stop asking what you're doing
and start asking where that voice came from. Because it didn't appear out of nowhere.
At some point, usually earlier than you realize, you learned a rule. Love is conditional. Approval comes after performance. Worth comes after results. So you adapted. You learned to correct yourself before anyone else could. You internalized judgment as protection. You turned self-attack into a survival strategy. Psychologically, this isn't strength. It's armor. Carl Jung spoke of the inner judge, the voice that keeps the psyche in line. When that voice takes over completely, it doesn't guide, it dominates. Its message is simple. If I stay on you, maybe no one else will hurt you. If you never relax, you'll never be caught off guard. So discipline becomes fear dressed in respectable language. Philosophically, Nietzsche warned about this trap, the ascetic ideal. The belief that suffering itself is virtuous, that pain proves worth, that denying yourself makes you moral. Modern self-improvement culture quietly resurrected that belief. You're taught that exhaustion is noble, that burnout is commitment, that rest must be earned. So when you push yourself mercilessly, it feels right. Not because it is, but because it aligns with the moral code you absorbed. Schopenhauer took it further. He argued that when desire turns inward, it becomes self-torment. You chase an ideal version of yourself that can never exist, and every moment you're not that person becomes a reason to suffer. You're not measuring yourself against reality. You're measuring yourself against an imagined version of who you should be. And that version never gets tired, never needs reassurance, never fails. So you always lose. Your brain reinforces this loop. Self-criticism releases cortisol. Cortisol creates urgency. Over time, your nervous system learns that pressure equals productivity. Calm feels unfamiliar. Peace feels suspicious. So when you slow down, instead of relaxing, you panic. And instead of asking, why does rest feel unsafe? You conclude, I must not be disciplined enough. That's how identity gets entangled. You don't just practice self-punishment, you become someone who believes it's necessary. You say things like, I work best under pressure. I need to be hard on myself. If I let up, I'll fall apart. But notice the belief underneath, that without cruelty, you would collapse. That belief didn't come from truth. It came from conditioning, from systems that benefit when you never feel enough, from environments where being human was inconvenient. So you replaced compassion with control, and you mistake that control for growth. But real growth doesn't require hatred of who you are now. Only punishment does. Here's the part no one tells you. This pattern doesn't stay internal. It quietly shapes your life. When fear drives your improvement, you lose real choice. You don't ask what you want. You ask what will make you acceptable. You choose careers to prove your worth. You stay in relationships where love must be earned. You avoid rest, play, intimacy, not because you don't want them, but because you don't feel deserving yet. Yet there is always another yet. Self-punishment thrives on moving goalposts. It also steals your ability to enjoy anything without guilt. Even success feels tense. Even peace feels temporary. Your nervous system never learns safety, only relief. So you become efficient but less alive, productive but emotionally muted. And over time, you internalize another belief. Love must be earned through pain. So ease feels suspicious, gentleness feels undeserved, intensity feels like truth. You recreate externally what you enforce internally.
Eventually, you stop knowing who you'd be without pressure. That question feels terrifying. Not because the answer is bad, but because it's unknown.
Self-punishment gives structure, rules, a sense of meaning. Letting go feels like chaos. But what if the chaos isn't outside? What if it's the war you've been fighting inside yourself this whole time? At some point, a quiet question appears. Is this really growth? Or have I just learned to survive more efficiently? That question is the beginning of rebellion. Not against effort, not against ambition, but against the belief that pain is the price of becoming whole. The rebellion doesn't begin by abandoning discipline. It begins by redefining strength, by noticing the voice without obeying it. When it says, "You're falling behind," you ask, "Is this guidance or fear?" When it says, "You should be doing more," you ask, "More for what?" This isn't weakness, it's discernment. Discipline isn't the enemy. Distrust is. Real discipline comes from devotion, not contempt. Think of anything that truly grows. Nothing thrives under punishment. Everything thrives under care. This doesn't mean avoiding discomfort. It means applying pressure without cruelty. Effort becomes something you practice with yourself, not against yourself. And something unexpected happens. Your energy returns. Not frantic energy, but steady energy. Your nervous system begins to trust you. Your mind clears. Your focus deepens. You realize something shocking. You don't need to be punished to improve. You need to be respected. And that leads to the final truth, the one that rearranges everything. Your problem was never discipline. It was your relationship with yourself. You weren't trying to become better. You were trying to become acceptable. So every goal carried the message, "Not yet." That's not growth. That's probation. Here's the shift. You stop asking, "How do I become better?" and start asking, "How do I stop abandoning myself while I grow?" When effort comes from self-respect, it feels different. Quieter, cleaner, more sustainable. You still stretch, you still show up, but not because you're afraid of being worthless, because you value your life enough to engage with it fully. And the paradox is this: when self-punishment disappears, progress often accelerates. Not because you push harder, but because you stop leaking energy into self-hatred. Growth stops feeling like punishment. It starts feeling like participation, like coming home to yourself, slowly, imperfectly, without violence. So here is the final question to sit with. If you treated yourself as someone you were responsible for protecting, not correcting, how would your life change? That choice between self-betrayal and self-respect is the real work. And once you see it, you can never unsee it.